Hi, how are you? How is everything?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you for having me on your show.
Pleasure is all ours. Monty, it wouldn't be wrong to say that if I don't start with Jimmy Anderson, I think I would be doing a little injustice to my job. How good he has been. 600 test wickets, one of the greatest fast bowlers. What is your say on to it?
Yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant. I think he's stayed injury free, and he's always been hungry to take wickets, and I think that's been his strength. He never been satisfied, with performances. Always wants to take wickets, and he's the best fast bowler ever now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what will be going in England team? Would I would say.
Yeah, I think the England team probably be thinking, how long can we keep him playing? That's going to be the question. He's got a brilliant record in English conditions, and he's averaging 21, since the age of 36. So he's actually done really really well. Do we save him for the tour next year to India, and he doesn't bowl there, and we use him for English conditions? It's just unbelievable. How many wickets he's taken.
Moni, let's shift to Pakistan now because the scoreline shows 1-0, but it could have been 2-0 or even a whitewash if weather gods wouldn't have favored Pakistan. What went wrong for Pakistan?
I think in the first Test match they had an opportunity to win, and I think with this Pakistan team they're still quite a young team, so it's very difficult for them to know how to win Test matches, and I think they get themselves into winning positions, and they just don't know how to hold on to them. So I think that's something that Azhar Ali will probably review after the end of this Test series. How can we just jump over the final hurdle to win the game. And there's been, passages of play, like especially in the third Test match, where you think, oh, they will probably crumble again and just get bowled out for under 50 overs. But they showed a lot more resilience, and they showed a lot more fight. So it just shows, that sort of attitude that Pakistan have, that they really, they want to become like the number one Test team in the world. And it's going to be things like this, the Test matches like this, when their back is against the wall, and how they react. The old Pakistan probably would have given up very easily, but this new Pakistan team under Misbah, Yunus Khan and Mushibai, it seems like they're like, no, I want you to guys go out there and show some pride, and that's what they did in the third Test match.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you talk about the young lads because my next question is on that. Monty, the bowling segment, it's very young. Shaheen Shah, Afridi, Naseem Shah, they are performing well in bits and pieces. But when it comes to taking wickets in those middle order, they have been able to question. It has been a big question on their bowling skills as well. What went wrong and where did they lack?
I think what happened is when the wicket isn't as swinging as much and not seaming, they really don't know how they're going to get wickets, and they're relying on the batsman to make a mistake, or the game just starts drifting. And I think that's where they got to think, right, what other options do we have apart from the ball seaming and swinging? And that's something that they need to work on, something that they'll probably learn by watching Jimmy and Stuart Broad, how they went about their business when the wicket wasn't doing much, how they took all the slips out, had a silly point, few men on the drive. So yeah, that's how they will probably learn as well, by watching the greats of Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson.
And where did they lack actually in this series?
I think where they lacked was they had them 4 down even in the third Test match. So every Test match they are in a position where they can sort of like they say, really command their position in the Test match, and they can win this game. But they just seem to always lose a winning position. How can they let that partnership be up to 300 300 plus runs before they took the next wicket? Now, why was that the case? This Pakistan team, their strength is bowling, not their batting. Where did it go wrong for them? That's the kind of stuff. If they're good at sort of analysing where they went wrong to improve their game, that's how this Pakistan team is going to become number one Test team in the world.
Absolutely. And let me read out a little stats for you: 0, 18, 20, 141, and 31. Well, Monty, these are just not numbers. These are the amount of runs Azhar Ali has scored in the innings against England. Now, what went wrong for Azhar Ali? Because if I keep aside the last test match, he wasn't able to perform. So, as a batsman and as a captain, where did it all go wrong?
Well, I think Azhar is a good player when the wicket doesn't have much pace in it, and the third Test match was the case. Once the new ball, stopped swinging, there wasn't much pace in the wicket, and I think that suits Pakistan's batting lineup. They're not used to playing on fast, pitches, and that's why in the third Test match they did pretty good. But when it comes to the, like winning position in the first Test match, they've got to win these games. They can't, because we know England will find a way of getting back in the series. So I think that's where it's if there isn't much pace in the wicket, then I think Pakistani batsmen do well. So that's why in the third Test match they found a way to draw the Test match.
Right. Let's talk about England now, and I will start with Butler. Well, there were a lot of eyeballs before the start of this series on English selection and the player management as why Butler has been chosen in the red ball cricket. But Monty, he has been able to prove everybody wrong with his performance in this test series. What exactly changed from England West Indies to England Pakistan?
I think what changed was it's what it is, right? Is when you're playing against spin, right? It's easier to counter attack than when you play against a swinging ball. You can put them off their length a little bit, and that's it. And I think that's what Joss Butler did. He knew that this could be my final innings. Let me just go and whack the ball out of the ground, and he played much more freely. But also, he made some technical adjustments. His front foot was going down the ground. He was slightly open, and what he was doing, he wasn't planting his front foot with the line of the ball. Like you do in T20 and one day, as you just see the line of the ball, plant your foot, and you just whack it.
Yep.
He actually, made some technical adjustments, which you can see in his game. So that sort of stuff requires a lot of desire to stay in playing Test cricket, and he really wants to. And then we saw a great innings in the last Test match where he scored that 100, which kind of shows that it's worth sort of playing Joss Butler a few more Test matches than you should, because then you'll end up getting a match-winning performance from him.
Absolutely. And now let's talk about his partner Chris Woakes, who also did really well. Well, Monty, Stokes is not around for this test series, but he will be back in some time. How difficult will it be for the English management to actually choose? Are you seeing both Chris Woakes and Ben Stokes in the side, or one will have to make a way for the other?
Well, I think I can see all of them playing, to be honest. With me, I can see Chris Woakes playing, Ben Stokes as well. And if anything, they could just rotate the test team. But the next tour, I think is probably India now, Sri Lanka as well, possibly. So they may require sort of more of all-rounders playing in that position, and I think both Chris Woakes and Ben Stokes will probably end up playing.
And who do you see sitting out in that case?
Well, sitting in that's a really good question you're asking me now. And I think in that case, it'll probably be either Stuart Broad or Jimmy Anderson, one of them two, because they're probably thinking, this isn't a great opportunity to give one of our fast bowlers a go and see what they're like in these conditions. And possibly Jimmy Anderson goes on the tour as as a bowling coach player as well.
All right. Monty, when we talk about England test side, it wouldn't be wrong to say that it's really very good. Whenever we talk about the openers, middle order, fast bowlers, it's very good. But England team lacks a good spinner like you. Now, tell me one thing. How can that be changed for Englishmen?
Well, the trouble is that if the top order, the top six batting lineup is really strong, then you maybe look to play a specialist spinner. But England tend to go for all-rounders who can bat a bit and bowl because of the relatively inexperienced we have in the England team, top order. So because of that, I think England doesn't really require playing a specialist spinner. They don't really need to play a specialist spinner in English conditions. Maybe in the subcontinent conditions, you need some players playing, but apart from that, you don't really need it in England.
But you just talked about that they will be needing his services in the Sri Lanka and India, the next two tours of England as of now. There, the subcontinent conditions, you will be needing a spinner. Who do you see stepping in?
Well, there's Jack Leach. I think Adil Rashid should be given a go. And then we have Dom Bess. Moeen Ali is another one. Then there's Amar Verdi, who they talk, quite heavily about him as well. So there's a few options there, But I would like to see that. I like to see Adil Rashid, get back playing Test cricket, because I think he's a good player. And I think if we had Adil Rashid instead of Dom Bess playing now, I think England probably would have won the series 2-0.
All right. Monty, last question. How impressive has been Joe Root's captaincy, and do you see him becoming one of the greatest Test captain for Englishmen?
Well, I think it's easy to captain a team when you've got some great players in there, the likes of Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad. But I think for him, his captaincy will be only known for when England travel to Australia for the Ashes. If they win the Ashes there, then yeah, you would say he's one of the great captains. But if they don't win the Ashes there, then I wouldn't put him in one of the great captains. But he's done really well.
All right, Monty. Thank you so much for that. Means a lot, and I think all the reviews and analysis coming from your end means a lot to everybody at SportsTiger. Thank you so much, and take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you.